What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In today's video, we're hopping into Ultimate X-Men issues 3 and 4. And when it comes to the Ultimate X-Men, I really do find myself really in a pickle. Part of me wants to keep reading this story, part of me keeps on wondering why I'm reading this story, because it doesn't seem to have anything to do with the Ultimate Universe. In fact, we have seen very little mutants at all in this, considering it's an X-Men title. I think a lot of us expected something a little bit differently walking into it, but we were all surprised on what PEACH MOMOKO has done, because we have followed a teenage Armor, making her way through high school, meeting an individual codename Mei Storm, her real name being Mei, having the powers that are almost identical to Storm, but something seems to be haunting them, a shadowy figure. This leaves us all wondering, could this be the Shadow King? So, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we pick up with Mei and Armor, currently in the schoolyard. Armor picks up a coin and it kind of reminds her of her past, of her friend that had taken his life. But cutting through all the small talk and little conversation, Armor wonders, how do you do it? How do you use your powers? And Maystorm really doesn't know that in that moment, she needed it to happen, and it did. This is what takes us to several months ago. We have Mei with her naturally black hair. She sits on her bed, she looks at her phone, and she's looking at the stories of Storm, the freedom fighter in Africa, fighting using the powers of the elements. But needing to head off to school, her mother tells her to stop by the neighbors and say hello. A new neighbor had moved in, and her mother just wanted her to be polite and go say hello, introduce yourself. And so when we pick up at that house, she's not really sure if anybody's home, but a cat runs out. It runs out and gets in between her feet. And then a man peeks out the door. He says that that is his cat. And Mei, not meaning to bother the man, just saying that we moved in next door, we wanted to come say hello to you. Hastily, the man grabs hold of the cat and pulls it inside. And the cat had scratched Mei. The man apologizing and Mei ending up going home. She goes to bed, she lays down after bandaging up her arm. But while she sleeps, she changes. That cat scratch did a little bit more than just make her bleed. And as Mei is woken up from her sleep, her parents have been arguing. Mei making a comment to say that we don't need him around, just leave him already. This causes her father to get up from the table and he smacks Mei across the face. This is where her power manifests. Hurricane rain and wind blowing through this house. Everything soaked. And then Mei's hair turns white. Upon seeing this, her father told her to leave, to get out and never return. And as we end her origin story, we pick up back on the play yard. We see the girl Nico, a purple-haired girl. They say that her family are some kind of fortune tellers or psychics. Not really sure if this is true or not, but this girl comes up to the two of them, saying that it's quite interesting because you are mutants too. And this is what takes us into issue number 4. Last exam out of the way, the bell ringing for school to be out. This is when they notice the kid Nico. She's looking into a crystal ball, seemingly talking to somebody about the guardian angel of theirs. Maystorm and Armor are trying to figure out if this girl's legitimate. Does she even have powers? Does she know if we have powers really? Or is she just making ridiculous claims? With Armor having to take off to go make dinner for her mother. And as she heads off, she gets on her bike, she starts to make her way out of the school, and then she sees somebody. Not really sure who this somebody is, but it looked familiar to her. She doesn't think much of this, she makes her way home, she makes dinner for her mom, and then they have a quick discussion. They talk about a boy from school, a boy by the name of Amano, and Armor finds this very peculiar, running over and grabbing her middle school graduation album. She flips through it and that's where she sees him. The boy she saw today was Amano. This is where we go back to earlier today. That boy actually came up to her. The two of them had had a conversation. Now Amano knows, he kind of knows who she is. He knows that they have a mutual friend, the boy that had taken his life. saying that everything has gone to hell since that day. But he believes that there is no way their friend would have done this, that there's gotta be more to it, and he believes that Armor knows what's going on. As she goes to hightail it out of here, something gets stuck in her wheel. This something is the boy's head, and manifesting in front of her is the shadow. This time, Armor doesn't waste any time. She activates her mutant ability, and she charges full in at this monster, hitting him, and we see him go flying as the boy gets up and Armor looks upon him. He then demonstrates exactly how their friend had killed himself. Armor curling up, the shadow surrounding her, and then she comes to. She looks around her to find school children taking pictures of her. Her mutant ability activated. Maystorm nearby, seeing what's going on, she rushes over. Using her powers, she electrifies every single phone so that nobody can upload this. Grabbing her and getting her out of here, nearby we see a girl, a blue-haired girl, recording all of this, but also taking the electricity that Maystorm had shot, wrapping it into a little ball, and then devouring it. Needless to say, things have just gotten way more interesting. But when we pick up a few days later, they begin to get notifications on their phone. Maystorm and Armor, they look at this notification to see Armor is viral. Everybody now knows that she is a mutant. They all know that she has powers. This is the day that their lives truly change. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. The more and more this goes on, I'm starting to get convinced that this might be the Shadow King. That's one of the reasons that I'm really holding on to this story still. Had it not been for this, at least hint, that it might be the Shadow King, I probably would have dropped this. But we are getting some introductions to some apparently very powerful new characters. This blue-haired girl having the ability to take that electricity and eat it like that. I'm very interested in finding out what her ability truly is. But yeah, this is definitely looking like this might be the Shadow King of the Ultimate Universe. But the girls aren't going to be able to focus on this. With Armor's secret getting out, their lives are truly about to change. Hopefully in the next issue, we're going to see all this turned up to another level. Hopefully this is where the Ultimate X-Men story really starts to pick up, because all the other titles, they've moved pretty quickly. And in comparison to this one is a slow-moving, slow-burn story that is taking its time introducing all of the characters one by one. Not a lot of fighting, not a lot of epic battles, but really these kids trying to figure out who they are and what these powers mean. In a world with nobody to guide them, no signs of Professor Xavier's, of Jean Grey's, all we know is what's happening right here. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that has been happening with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you completely caught up on everything that has been going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you're getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.